Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jay from Revolution Radio, and I had my topic picked out for today, but then Trump asked China for help in investigating Biden. Did he say that word for word? No, but he suggested they should look into him, and he keeps spreading the same narrative about Biden, which many argue is true, some argue is not true. It's really hard to say. We've broken it down on this channel before. And of course, it's all subject to change as information comes out. Either way, there's no formal investigation into Biden. That's the problem. And Trump asks another one of our foreign allies to meddle in our election. It's unethical and definitely impeachable. It is an abuse of his power, which is one of the cornerstones of why we have the ability to impeach a president. If he did not go on such a limb like this, if it was just the Ukraine, I think it would have been different. But now that he's just saying it in front of everyone's faces on live TV, I I don't see much um, I don't see much time for Trump in office. Also, on that note too, it has been reported, and this is kind of behind the scenes. They say, at least from what I to understand, they don't believe that the American people would understand what the Democrats are doing, which I think is just ridiculous. The American people are very smart, but the Democrats are also looking into the emoluments clause, and I think this is by far, if you're for or against the impeachment of Trump, you have to understand that this is probably one of the most important things because it is one of the easiest things they're going to be able to nail him on, honestly. Um, Look, there's multiple hotel rooms spanning costs of about 250,000 to 500,000 that the Saudi Arabians have rented. And lo and behold, no one's in those hotels. Interesting, huh? And we're doing the bidding for Saudi Arabia. On top of that, um, there's the whole thing with the airport and the Air Force using an airport that's right near his little resort. So I think there's a lot to go on when they're looking, especially in the emoluments clause. That's going to be huge. Um, I would have to say, if you are a Trump supporter, I'm sorry, it's not looking good for you. It's really not. And if you are in favor of this, well, you better get ready to have your nominee. That's all I can say. I don't think even if this goes to trial, it goes. The election will happen before, so most likely it's not going to be an overnight thing. He's just out. Like he Trump will be in office until the election. I'm certain of that. There's so much legal back and forth. Nancy Pelosi's probably not even going to make a move until 2020. I bet. I don't know. I'd be surprised if she did. She might turn around and surprise us all, but she's so slow moving on her end that yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not 2020. Anyway, the one thing I did want to talk about too is the Forbes billionaire list that they had released today, and it kind of shocked me because it really showed the gap in the wealthy and the average American and how that continues to grow larger and larger and larger. And there's still a good percentage of us that keep fighting for the wealthy to get more wealthy. We keep battling against ourselves. So, just to give you a breakdown, in 1982, the richest person in America made $2.1 billion, which was pretty impressive. The 2019 list, he wouldn't even made the top 40. I apologize. He wouldn't have made the list. He wouldn't have made the top 400. That's insane. And you might be thinking, okay, yeah, but that was 37 years ago. You know, cost of living, raises, blah, 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 blah. And I would tell you, you're just grasping onto straws because if you don't see that there is a gap in the wealthy and the poor, and it's growing ever bigger, then you are lying to yourself. But I would also resort to this. So, minimum wage in 1982 was $3.25. Today, it is $7.25. It doubled, which is, you know, when you talk about your money doubling, that's not bad. Over 40 years, that's pretty fucking sad. But so the CEOs of these companies, of all the companies, their average growth since 1982, actually since 1978, has been 90 times. 90 times faster growth. Our growth, us working slobs, double. Twice. Twice. Them, 90. With bonuses and their other sources, as it's detailed, accounting for a good chunk of it. But how do you think they get those bonuses? It's by not paying people. That's how they get those bonuses. This gap is going to end one way or the other. Because the poor are either just going to fall off and we won't be able to serve the rich anymore. We won't be able to buy their products. We won't be able to help them get richer, or you're going to see the somebody like Bernie Sanders step in and recorrect the system just a little bit. Honestly, I mean, if they made 15 times growth and we made 2 times growth, that would still be a lot better. You understand? 90 times growth since 1978, 2 times. You gotta see the difference. And are they working harder? No, no, not at all. Doing the same jobs, if not even less jobs, because a lot of it's automated, even on their end. And the average American, meanwhile, is working 2 to 3 jobs to keep food on the table. And they figured out ways to deny us health care and 401ks because they just simply give us 29 hours a week, which also doesn't cover our bills. So we have to get another job. Or we're fucking stuck at the 29-hour job week, or job and hour week. So it's the reason why I say that the next president we have got to pick somebody who this is a main issue. This is huge. This is probably the biggest American issue besides climate change. Except for this one, we've got all the facts to back it up. Trickle down economy does not work. We've been trying it since the Reagan era. And anyone who tells you that, oh, well, Clinton, he did his thing and so did Obama, no, it was all trickle down. It was all trickle down. Has been for a very long time. They did different versions where they taxed the wealthy a little bit more. But we continue to bail them out. And they continue not to pay taxes, not to pay their people a livable wage. While we're talking about wages real quick, I know there's a lot of people on the right who say we shouldn't have a minimum wage at all. The market would set it. Okay? So, minimum wage in California, this is statewide, they have to do it. It's $12 an hour. There are some caveats. If you have less than like 26 employees, then it's $11 an hour. But for the most part, it's set at $12 an hour. Alabama and Missouri They do not have a minimum wage, a federal minimum wage. So what is the minimum wage? What's the minimum amount that workers are making? $7.25. See, they're not going to pay you more if they don't have to. Well, yeah, but you're competing with the market. No, because the market's always going to, it is always going to be down on you, the worker. You got to be smart enough to see that, guys, or they continue to take advantage of you. And for anybody who thinks that trickle down economics does work, and this whole idea of, we'll say, corporate welfare is a good option, think about this. We have less and less money, the 99% of us, less and less money. What are they going to be able to trickle down to us if we're not spending it because we don't have it? They don't spend their money. They keep it in stocks. They hoard it. We spend ours. We put it back into the economy. But when $400 will bankrupt a family, they're not spending a lot of money. Not at all. We had the minimum wage at $15. First year, as a business owner, it would be a little bit rough. It really would. By the time that second year rolls in, though, you'll be doing better than you've ever been doing because your entire economy around you just got paid twice as much. Think about how much more business you're going to have when people have more money to spend. I mean, that's really the argument. I mean, it's a very simple fact. Well, if we just worship the rich deities, they will piss upon us and give us more. Will they? Have they? Or will they sell you out to reinvest into their stocks so that they can continue to make more money off bonuses? Will they work on a skeleton crew and push you to death because they know they can, because you need that job? Look, they would easily fire us and put us through a grinder if they can make a nickel because they're cold-blooded. And it's about time that we show them how cold-blooded we are, and we're done with their BS. There's only a few ways I can think of doing that right now without a nationwide strike. The only thing I can think of aside from that would be voting for a politician who truly believes in this. I don't know, maybe like a guy who used a medical emergency to prove why we need Medicare for all. Someone like that. Someone who is so anchored to their beliefs that even in time of a dire crisis, they're still fighting for the average American. I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. Anyway, I'm curious to hear what you guys think about it. Either the Trump story or the Forbes list of billionaires. And curious what your thoughts are on the gap between the wealthy and the poor, and in Trump China. Curious about all of that. Thank you guys so much. On Facebook, it's Jaydyllan, Jaydyllan. On Twitter, it is JC Show VIP. And the YouTube channel is Community of Ideas. Apple, iTunes, Google Podcast, Spotify, and Google Podcast, and Anchor is Revolution Radio, or Zach Dillon, Zakkdillon. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good evening.